Hello everyone, welcome to Winged Paper Crafting. My name is Angel Fitch. If you're new around here, welcome. If you're returning, welcome back. I'm so glad you stopped by my YouTube channel. Today we're going to do another episode of Fun Fold Friday, because it is Friday, thank goodness. And we're going to use our template that we made on Tuesday. So our Fun Fold template, we're going to use this to make our card. So I'm going to go ahead and open that up, and we will use our template instructions here that I've written on the inside of my template. If you're just catching this and you don't know what the templates are about, go back to Tuesday and look at Template Tuesday's video, and you'll see all of how we made this template. I'll link it at the end of the video as well. So, before we get started, I just like to say, if you enjoy my videos and are getting anything out of them, just do me a favor and hit that like and subscribe and drop me a comment and let me know what your favorite thing is that I'm doing here. Let me know what you think about Template Tuesday and Christmas Card Corner and Fun Fold Friday. So, let's go ahead and get started here. I've got a card base that's 8.5 by 5.5. And I've scored it at 4 1/4 and then at 2 1/8. So basically just half of the front of this. This is Pebbled Path, which is a retired paper color, but actually goes really well with the designer series paper that I have chosen for this. But you could use any gray color that you wanted with this. So I'm using the Nests of Winter paper that is still available. So our little bird paper here, even though the birds on this are very tiny, so it's more just trees in the winter, but I still like it. So next we've got is the cardstock for the front of our card. So that would be this. That's our mat that's going to go for our sentiment piece. And so this is 2 7/8 by 3 7/8. The piece of white is on here for any color that you could do on the front. I'm using white. You could use vanilla, basic beige, basically any light color that you wanted. 2 5/8 by 3 5/8 is going to go here. And then our pattern paper, we've got two pieces that are 1 7/8 by 5 1/4. So we are going to, and then I've got a piece for the inside that's 4 by 5 1/4. So we're going to stamp on our two white pieces here in just a second. I'm going to put this to the side because we don't need that quite yet. Let's go ahead and get our pattern paper down right quick. And then we'll do our stamping. So I'm going to use some liquid glue just so I have a little bit of wiggle room for this. Because, I don't know, I'm just in a liquid glue kind of mood today. So I want to make sure that my birdies are right side up. And I'm going to put this one right here on the outside and just center this up best as possible. The reason I like to use liquid glue sometimes is it does give you that wiggle room that will help you to get things straight. So, okay, that looks pretty good. Now our other piece is going to go on this inside flap here. So again, make sure my birds are right side up. And we'll get this put into place here. Okay, just like that. Okay, so there's our pattern paper. That's half the job right there. Now, let's take our white pieces here and do some stamping. I'm going to stamp in Pebbled Path as well. But again, you could stamp in whatever color goes with the pattern paper that you've picked for your card. And for the outside, we're going to do 2 stamps. So out of the Winterly Treetops stamp set that came out, was part of the suite with this Nest of Winter paper, we're going to use this Sending Thanks and Much Love and this little single bird down here. So we're going to put that on the outside. So let's go ahead and ink up our sentiment piece here. And I will turn that over because it's got something on it. I think I got into the ink already. That is just not good. Oh my goodness. Let's see. Let me get this little spot of ink off here that I had on my finger. If you do any stamping and you don't have a sand eraser in your craft room, you need to go and get one. You can get one from Amazon. They don't cost a lot, and they are lifesavers at times like this. Okay, so again, make sure I don't have any more ink. I'm going to line my paper up here with the line on my glass mat. Try to start with it as straight as possible. And we're going to stamp our sending thanks so much love there. And then I'm going to ink up our little bird. And I'm going to do the same colored Pebble Path ink here. And again, make sure our piece of paper is straight. And we're going to put our bird right down here at the bottom. Hang on a second, let's get that straightened up again. So just down here. Just going to give that a second. There we go. Okay, so there is, very cute. Okay, now for the inside then, we're going to do another stamp from the same stamp set. Says, a friend like you brings me happiness. So we're going to ink this up. Line the paper up. There we go. And we'll get this up here at the top. Hopefully straight. Some days I feel like I'm crooked. See, just like that. Crooked. Let's try that again. It's a good thing there are two sides to every piece of paper, right? Oh my goodness. Let's try that one more time. That was just crazy. Crazy crooked. Let's see if I can get a better view of it. Hopefully I'm not in your way. Oh my goodness. There, that's much better. Boy. Okay, I'm going to put the ink away before I stick my finger in it again. And let's go ahead and finish this card up. One thing about having the templates already done and your directions already done, it makes your card making go so much quicker. You don't really have to think about it. You just pull it out and go, oh, that's the one I want to make. It tells you everything you need to cut, and you're on your way. So let's go ahead and center this up. I'm just going to wiggle that around. Get that straight. Just kind of like, that's not quite straight yet. There. That looks pretty good. Okay, so we'll just give that a good press. And we'll go ahead and put this on our inside of our card. And you know what? I just had a thought that we may... Okay, we'll be all right. So ideally, if I had been thinking, which, I wasn't, because it's Friday night and my brain is mush for the week, it would have been smarter of me to move my sentiment down just a little bit, because I need to be able to cover it up here with this front piece. But I can make it work. It's just not going to quite be centered top to bottom, but it'll still be fine. So that was on me for not thinking. And I just thought too, I have another little stamp I want to stamp here on the inside. So this is just this little branch here. So we're gonna just ink this up. And I just wanted to put this right here. I'm going to put it down here in this corner so we make sure it's covered up. There we go, just like that. Okay. Okay, let's get our front piece on. So I'm just going to just put it so that it barely covers my sentiment on the inside. And we will just kind of flip this over, and I'm going to keep my finger here so I know where I have to keep my glue. I have to keep my glue on this side because I do not want to glue my card shut, because that would be bad. So I'm just going to take this, position it over top of that sentiment. So like I said, if I had thought about it, I'd have put the sentiment down a little lower, and then I could have centered this from top to bottom, but it's fine. It looks just fine the way it is. So you can, there. You do you when you do yours. Maybe your brain will be more awake than mine is. Okay, now, last thing we need is some bling for our card, and I picked some out earlier. Let me figure out what I did with it. Where did it go? You wouldn't think it could go that far away. Oh, here it is. I knew it wasn't too far. Okay, I've got these neutral adhesive backed sequins, and there is, I think I'm going to use these. I think they're white, although they might be a light gray. I'm not sure, but that's what we're going to use. So I'm going to take a, maybe I'll take one if it wants to come and play with us. All right, here we go. We'll try it this way. Okay. So let's put one up here. And there we go. We'll get this one here. Maybe. They do not want to play. Okay. There we go. And then one more. We'll do another little one over here. Except I took two instead of one. There we go. We just needed one. Alright, so there's our card. Just cute. I just love these little birds. So let me show you some of the others that examples that I made. So I've got a fall one here that I did with some icon seasons of icon seasons, or what was it called? Some paper from last year. Iconic, I think, seasons or something along those lines. But I used the acorn paper, and I used the last, the dies that were part of the paper pumpkin for last quarter that I could cut this acorn out of, and these leaves. So wishing you the happiest days and thinking of you. And so you can see how on this one I put my sentiment down further on the page so that I could center this up. So that was, you know, really my fault. So here's another one. So this is a Christmas card. This is the same iconic paper that was in that paper set. And you can see how on these I flipped the paper over, or used a different one on that piece. And on this one I didn't. I used the same one because I like the trees. But you can do it either way. And then the last one I've got is a sympathy card that I made out of the Peaceful Garden paper pack. So heartfelt prayers and big hugs for a good friend. So there are our cards that we've made here. So, like I said before, go ahead and hit that like and subscribe, and make sure you hit that notification bell so you get notified every time I upload a video. And we've got a couple paper pumpkin videos coming, and then we'll start over again next week with Template Tuesday, Christmas Card Corner on Wednesday, and Fun Fold Friday on Friday. So I will see you all soon. Have a crafty evening. Bye.